Let's talk makeup brushes. I have always been intimidated by makeup brushes. I've always felt like there are so many makeup brushes to choose from. Which one do you use? Especially when you're a beginner or somebody that just doesn't know much about makeup, which is totally me, especially 3 years ago. When I found this makeup, I had no idea what kind of brushes to use, or even if I needed a brush. I had no idea of any of it. 4 years ago, I bought 10 brushes for the price of $80. At the time, I didn't realize how poor quality they were because I didn't have any idea what makeup brushes to buy and what quality I was looking for, right? But when I got home and I started applying makeup, it just always looked terrible, and I just figured it was because I was terrible at makeup. But if you want to talk brushes with me, then keep watching. Let's first start out with face brushes, our foundation brushes, okay? This is probably one of the most important brushes to have and to know which one to have, because the majority of our makeup is going to be on our face. We have to do a little bit on our eyes, a little bit on our eyebrows, and some on our lips, but the rest of it is our face. We want to make sure we have a good brush for that. Brushes that I use, they are double-ended. Not only are they double-ended, but they are a fantastic price for the quality that these brushes provide. They are synthetic bristles. They're absolutely the best brushes I've ever used. The first thing that you want to decide when you are picking a foundation brush is, am I a light coverage girl or am I full coverage girl? Like, do I want my makeup to completely cover everything on my face? That would be considered full coverage girl. If you're light coverage, you don't mind if your freckles kind of come through, you want still some of your own natural color to peep through your makeup, you're probably going to be light coverage. That's more my spectrum. But if you are a full coverage girl, I would definitely recommend the buff brush. You're looking for really, really dense bristles when you are full coverage. You want a dense, stiff bristles that move, they barely move, just but a little. On this brush, you've got a smaller surface end, which is really great for like inner eyes or you could even do it for contouring. This is going to be more of your main part, like for the main part of your face, okay? So you want the buff brush if you are full coverage. Now, something that's very important when you are using a full coverage brush is to make sure that you are stippling your makeup on like this. Don't be smearing if you're full coverage. If you are doing that, all you're going to do is just create smear marks in your makeup. You want to press that on. Another full coverage brush that is a really super fast brush. This is actually the Hack brush, and this is one of my very first brushes that I ever got. But it also has dense bristles. They're a little bit longer, so it's not going to be quite as full coverage as the buff brush, but it is still going to give you a really full coverage look. And then this is a really great end for, again, some of those smaller areas that you want to tap into. Whenever you are doing full coverage with like a brush, make sure that you get yourself a sponge. This is the Perfector Sponge. It actually comes in gray now, but make sure you get this because this is a really great tool to have when you're full coverage. The reason why is because this will help to give that more skin-like finish with your full coverage, and it will also help to take any excess makeup off that you are not appreciating on your face. So what you would do is you get this wet, you would squeeze out all the moisture, take a towel, dry it off just a little bit in there, and then it's going to feel really cold. Then you're just going to apply it to all the areas that you want to where you applied your foundation, and you're going to stipple all of the excess off. It's also a great tool for blending. So if you want to blend like your contour with your bronzer or with your blush, it's a great tool. So if you don't have one of these, very affordable, get one of these. You don't need both of these brushes to do your foundation. If you want them, great, get them. But if you just want one, I would recommend the buff brush and then a Perfector Sponge for full coverage, okay? Now, medium coverage. This is probably one of my very favorite brushes. I haven't used it during the summer because I'm super light coverage during the summer. I like a super light coverage, almost just very minimal makeup on my face. But this is my go-to brush, especially in the fall, winter, sometimes a little bit in the spring. This is called the Blush and Bronzer brush, okay? Now it was designed for blush and bronzer. That's why it's called that. But it's a really great foundation brush as well when you want kind of a light to medium coverage. So this one is the side, it's going to be your more dense side. This is a more fluffy side. This is where I would apply my makeup and I would stipple it on. And then on this side, you can go ahead and blend it and kind of buff it in and do a pumping motion with this brush. You can get away with that on this. So medium coverage brush. This is called the Detail Brush. This is actually designed for contouring. This is my very first brush that I ever bought from Saint. But I actually used to apply my foundation with this brush, and some people still do. You can totally make it your own and do that as well. I used to apply it with this side, and then I would go in and kind of stipple it on. But that was before I actually knew if I was a light coverage or a full coverage girl. I just went with what I saw in a video. But this is contouring. The reason why it's contouring is because you'll notice there's on this brush there's a sharp edge, and it's really great for creating like a contour line if you like that really just sharp contour line. It's a beautiful tool for that. This side, of course, is also great for small areas, and you can use this to blend out the contour lines if you want. The world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want, but that's what this brush is for. It's for detail and especially for contouring. Great contouring brush. My go-to light coverage brush during the summer especially is the blend brush. This is what you will see in most of my videos lately. You'll notice that the bristles are longer and it's very fluffy. It's a very fluffy brush. There's a lot of give to these bristles. On this side it's a little bit tighter. It's still long. It's a little bit tighter, so it's going to get more into that detail. I'll use this sometimes for my eyes or just for actually picking out like pimples, concealing some pimples, and using it for that. Okay. I also use this end for my contour. I'll use it to make lines for a contour, for my nose, for my jawline, wherever. Another thing I use this brush for is for my eyeshadow. It's got enough fluff to it and it's pointed enough for me that if I just want a quick job and I just want to use one brush, this is my guy. This is my all-around probably go-to brush, specifically in the summer if I just want to pick one brush for my makeup. So if I'm going to travel and I don't have a lot of space or a lot of room, this is going to be my brush. We've covered full coverage, medium coverage, contouring brush, and a light coverage brush, okay? Now, you don't need all these brushes. I would recommend that if you are a beginner and you do like light coverage, get the blend brush. This would be my high recommendation to start with. Now, if you feel like it's not giving you enough makeup, then you might want to opt for the medium coverage brush if you need a little bit more. And then if you still are not getting what you want and you still want more coverage, then go with the buff brush. This is going to be your go-to. So these are the 3 brushes I would recommend for foundation, depending on what kind of coverage you want. Let's get into eyeshadow brushes. So I actually really truly own one eyeshadow brush. I know, that's crazy. A lot of people own tons, and that's totally fine. But I find that for what I do with my eyeshadow, which is fairly basic most of the time, this is enough. Now, once in a while, I will dip into my demi brushes. This is from another Saint line, and that's a whole other beast. But sometimes I'll dip into my demi line, and I will use this as my eyeshadow brush. Now, this has a smaller fluffy end, so if I really want to get more detailed, I can put the color specifically where I want it to go, and this is a great option for that. But most of the time, this works just fine. This is the smaller end. This is the fluffy blending side. Okay, always make sure that when you are blending, this is clean and clear. This is what you want with the fluffy, and you want a lot of give with it. You want this to just move very well so it can just swirl across your eyelid. Okay, so this is the eyeshadow brush. This is the especially for beginners, this is the eyeshadow brush that I would recommend for any beginner. Even if you are a seasoned makeup guru, go for this brush. You'll notice mine is bent. I actually ran it over with my tire. Actually, my husband did. I dropped it out the window and he ran it over. So, but it still works. This end is actually not supposed to be flat and tapered. It was actually more bulbous and tapered. But yeah, it's flat now. So it's okay. It still works. And I love it. I probably should get another one. All right, this is the Multitasker Brush. This is for detail. So if I want to line my eyes, if I want to line my lips, like with the contour, I want specific, or even if I want to get really detailed for my contour, I can use this flat tapered side. It's really dense. The bristles are really hard on this one, and I can line out my nose with that as well. This is also a great brush this is my brush that I started out for my eyebrows when I started filling them in with eyeshadow. This was the brush I started with. Great brush for detail. If you are not planning on being very detailed, don't worry about this brush, okay? Now this is the line brush, and this is what I use for my eyebrows currently. I put eyeshadow on with them, and then I go ahead and fill in with my brow flick. And then the cool side, again, all of these brushes are double-ended, so there's multi-use for them. It's pretty common to see a spoolie end brush with this, but it is not common to see brushes with two options that are double-ended. The three brushes that I will typically use on a daily basis, if I'm doing like my full face and I'm at home and I'm not in a hurry, I use these three brushes: the blend brush, the eyeshadow brush, and my line brush. Eyebrows, these are for my eyeshadow, and this is for my foundation, concealer, all of it, this guy, okay? Those are the main ones I use. If I am in a hurry and I just want to do a quick job, I will use this brush and this brush for my eyebrows. So that is brushes in a nutshell. There are a lot more brushes that you can get into, but those are the ones I use. And again, not on a daily basis, but maybe that will help give you an idea of what kind of brushes you might want to use in your own makeup routine. Don't overcomplicate it. You can get so detailed with brushes, and it's insanely awesome if that's your jam. But if it's not and you want to keep it simple, or you're a beginner, then just kind of follow those guidelines for picking out your own brushes. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys have any ideas or things that you want me to be showing you on my channel, let me know. I would love to get some feedback from you on what you're looking for and what you need, okay? Thank you, and please like the video if you liked it and if it helped you out, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see future videos. Bye.